A little bit of a debate with other people that being a human rights defender, that it's about yourself. In a way, yes, it is about yourself, but bottom line, it really is not about yourself. It's about others. Where this really started in my life was when I was in detention at the Santa Ana City Jail facing deportation. I found myself very often not only helping myself with my own case, but helping other people that were being detained in immigration detention to file some of their documents for cancellation of removal, for CAT, which is similar to asylum, helping them to file appeals with the Board of Immigration Appeals, with the Ninth Circuit. And I think that was kind of preparing me for what was in store when I got deported. I remember very clearly when I got deported, it was on Good Friday, March 28, 2013. I thought I was going to get released and be able to go home, and I did end up going home, but home to the country I was born in, not my home where I lived. I was deported to Tijuana, Mexico. When I was on my way here to Mexico, I will never forget, as we were approaching the border, another person stood up on the bus and he said, "Hey, what's up with that sad face? Let's prove to people in the United States that we can make it in Mexico too." When he said it, I guess something inside of me kind of clicked, and I said, well, yeah, that's right. But right at that time, I looked up and I saw a big Mexican flag right across the horizon, and I didn't want to accept it. I got deported, but at 6 months, I had a very significant event happen in my life that all of a sudden made me go into a pretty severe depression. My wife of over 20 years left me on Christmas Day, 2013. I started searching for something to fill that void, and I couldn't find anything. Finally, I decided I needed a closer relationship with God. I started searching for a church where I could find that relationship with God. And I found one on 3rd Street here in Tijuana. I was doing okay, not too bad. But one day, walking out of the church, I saw a sign that said deported veterans. I walked in, met the person that had just moved to Tijuana, had just opened up that office there for deported veterans, and started talking to him, started to understand what he was doing, what he was trying to do to help deported veterans. I felt that was something that I could do. I eventually ended up meeting a couple other people that were working with Border Angels. And after I met them, I realized that they were working with deported people, with deported moms, with exiled kids, with a population of migrants, vulnerable migrants. And as I started talking to them, my interest for helping other people began to grow. They started showing me around town. They started introducing me to people like Guillermo Navarrete at Border Church and John Fanistil, and Darinka Carballo from Gaia. And I started getting involved with Border Church, and also with Darinka and her monthly trips they would do into the canal in support of homeless people. And I came to start finding out that the more I got involved in this community, the better I started feeling about myself. So eventually we started getting very heavily involved with deported veterans, where I ended up being co-founder of an organization at that time. And we're also starting to work with moms that have been deported, with U.S. citizen children, and some moms that were deported, that their kids remained in the U.S. as dreamers. So that was another organization that I co-founded, Dreamer Moms USA Tijuana. Prior to getting involved with these groups, beginning these groups, it was very difficult. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. As I started working with these different groups, I felt that I was able to get through the day in a productive way. So that made me feel very good, and it started giving me a lot of empowerment to start on a process of creating and designing activities to help these different organizations. For example, U.S. citizen kids having to live in Mexico without the benefits that they're entitled to as U.S. citizen kids, one of the actions that designed, that put together, was that we had a letter writing campaign where we had U.S. citizen kids living in exile write letters to their congressmen from their hometown. And these letters, we turned them into an action when we went to the U.S. consulate and made a protest there and delivered those letters to the U.S. consulate to be turned over to the U.S. Congress. Another action that we participated in was during the prior election, where we started doing rallies at the border in support of Bernie Sanders. We even organized a team to do phone banking for Bernie. Why? Because Bernie was the only candidate at that time that voiced his opinion that if elected president, he would bring deported veterans home and he would work for reuniting families that had been separated from those unjust immigration laws. Also, I was participant in an effort to not only create more awareness on deportation of veterans, but also the need for their benefits to be provided, since we had veterans that had been deported that had died here in Mexico without receiving their proper medical attention. So an action was designed in July 2016 where veterans would be turning themselves into the border to Border Patrol to apply for humanitarian parole. During that action, I was able to put together the humanitarian parole packages for the 11 participants that were part of the action. In 2018, we had another unfortunate incident with another deported veteran was in a car accident, and he was in critical condition. We tried to obtain a humanitarian parole for him to get him across the border to the Veterans Administration to provide him with the proper medical attention that he needed. It took us approximately 1 week to finally Border Patrol accept his humanitarian parole and grant us the authorization for this veteran to enter the United States to receive his proper medical attention. Unfortunately, 24 hours after entering the United States, he passed away. But that has never stopped us from continuing our efforts to seek legal avenues for our deported veterans to be able to return to the United States. We were also very fortunate last year to assist a deported mom of a U.S. citizen child whose child was suffering of leukemia in the United States. The mom was denied humanitarian parole to go take care of her daughter until, through the efforts of several organizations, we were able to present the mom to border authorities here in Tijuana, where she gained access into the United States on a humanitarian parole and was reunited with her daughter. Another action that we're very proud of is that as of 2019, from doing our border church every Sunday at Playas de Tijuana, we have extended our border church to other faiths to come and join us. And our Muslim community has stepped up. And now, as of 8 months ago, the last Sunday of every month, we have a combination of border mosque and border church, our Muslim and Christian community coming together as one. As such, we continue to seek for different actions in support of family reunification and also of returning our deported veterans back to the United States. So, as you can see, this is why, to me, being a human rights defender is not about me. If I'm not doing it for others, then I wouldn't be able to do anything. In this process, it has validated to me that it is not all about me, that I'm just an instrument of God.